All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, I guess, at least for me. I hope you're having a good Friday morning or afternoon or evening, wherever what time zone you're in. I was, uh, I was struggling, folks. I was struggling with some bugs in Tempest, and I was like, I'm so sick of it. I'm gonna stop for today and gonna do some other things. And then I was like, I should probably do something fun, and that's this. I hope. I hope at least. It's yeah. I don't really have a plan. Like I decided to start streaming 5 minutes ago, and here we are. So we'll see how how it goes. Hello, Joris and Undefnel in Twitch. Samuel on YouTube as well. Glad you're here. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well and almost ready for the weekend. And what better way to start the weekend, than just watching a live stream of someone writing some code and probably struggling along the way, right? Yeah, we had Tempest's release yesterday, not yesterday, last week, and that was great. 1.0, like lots of people who pitched in, who were really excited about it, and we discovered some new bugs. That's what I'm working on, right? And then many people joined the Discord as well. Because and let me remind you, if you haven't yet, you can join the Discord here. That's me. Hi. If you want to. But we're here with now, I think, almost 500 people. So that's really nice. Really excited to bring so many people together and just, talk about Tempest, talk about PHP, learn from each other. So that's nice. If you want to join, the Discord is there. Just go to tempestphp.com/Discord, right? So what do we want to do today? Database seeders. This has been something that's, on the list for a very long time. Well, actually, it's only issue 1100. That's not super long ago. I actually think I had an issue for it a long time ago, or mentioned it somewhere, and then we're just like, okay, no, let's not do that. So today we're doing it. Michal, I don't know, here on YouTube as well. I'm a huge fan of builders with withers, for example, assembling objects with ID and unchaining methods, right? Yeah, I know. Me as well. But for database seeders, we're not really gonna use that builder pattern at all, I think. But like I said, I don't really know where we're going with this. So let's just jump into the code, basically. Database seeders. I have a couple of ideas, but I'm not sure what the right approach is here. Let's see. We can run migrate, right? Hang on. Let me remove actually my .env and create a new one over here. Environment local, that should be fine. Migrate, okay. So we have a database that's SQLite, I think. And let's actually see Tempest about. Does this list the database path? No, it doesn't. Because now it's in the default place, which is, I guess, should be over here or not. See, this is how good I know my own framework. Let's see. SQLite config. And what's the default path? Oh, it's actually localhost for SQLite. I have no idea where it's stored. We're running into the first weird thing here. I thought this was stored in okay, here we have it. Okay, database.sqlite and internal storage path. That should be here then, shouldn't it? I thought it was here. What's internal storage path? Tempest, database.sqlite. Yeah, it should be here. Is this just a matter of files being out of sync? Let me remove this. And let's run it again. Migrate. Ah, I know why. It's not using this config file. It's using this one over here. This is my database. Okay, found it. This is okay. This is my fault. This is just weird setup for the the framework package. In the command itself, it showed something about the database at the very end. Really? Did it? No, I don't think so. Oh, maybe if I rerun it. Hang on. So this is the database, right? Yes. Honestly, we should list a path here because this is our database. Perfect. We found it. Now we need to, well, we want to add seeders, basically. A way to I think, do something like this. However, there are some more options that we might explore, because we could also do something like database seed or seed. The about command. Hang on. Did it? Yeah, it lists the SQLite engine here, but not the path, right? It doesn't list the path. Yeah. Sorry, I was distracted by a comment. Anyway, yeah. So, artisan. No. Tempest. Migrate and then seed. So this is pretty obvious, right? If we pass this parameter, we want our seeders to run automatically, and that shouldn't really be an issue. The thing is, like, what if you have multiple seeder classes, right? Do we want to support that or not? That's basically the big question. So maybe what I'll start with is, let's go to packages here, database, and let's add an interface here. Database seeder, basically. And interface, it shouldn't really do much besides like seed or run. Does it need the database? I don't think it does, actually. I don't think it does. Yeah. Okay, let's do it like this. What we're gonna do is create a new command. Where is the migrate command? Migrate up command. Yeah, this is in, oh yeah, this is in the framework source. I'm actually gonna add it here as well for consistency's sake. So database seed command, something like this, right? And we'll say invoke, and we'll say this is a console command. Use has console, like so. It returns nothing, and then yeah, we'll have to do something here, and we'll add some aliases here like dbseed. Yeah, okay. So what we need is a list of all our database seeders, which is just discovery, right? That's not a problem at all. So let's add that one. I think, do we have migration discovery? Where does that live? Yeah, just here. Seeder discovery, implements discovery, and then use is discovery. Then we can add our method stubs. If our class implements database seeder, we want to add it, and then when we apply it, well, yeah, that's the next step. So let's also add a, let's see here, seeder config, database seeder config, which will just be a list public private set array of seeder classes, seeders, and we'll say add param add var. I mean, it's an array of no, it's yeah, it's an array of array key with class string of type database seeder. Yeah, this should be good. And what's the problem here? No, we don't want it to be read-only, actually. And actually, we do just want it to be public. That's consistent with all config in Tempest. Okay, so let's inject it over here in our discovery. Private database seeder, database seeder config. Do we want to like use database seeder or seeder? I think seeder is fine, right? Seeder config. Let's rename this to seeder config for consistency. Okay, now we can discovery items add, and then we'll say yeah, this is fine, and then we'll loop over this get items as item, I reckon, and then we'll add them. What's that? Just item, just seeder class basically. Okay, and then we go to our seed command. We'll inject our config over here. Seeder config. Seeder config. Okay. This is like a boring setup, right? This seeder config. Why not database seeder seeders? Michael is asking here, why not doing this? And where exactly would you do that? Oh, over here, I reckon. Because like these are config files, right? And you can only use the REST operator once. So if you want to add more items here, you'll end up with problems basically. So yeah, these are kind of places, you know, it would be great if we would have generics and then all of this would be solved, but yeah, that's not the case. Also because you do want to append to them one by one. So that's another thing. Let's see, what else do we need this microdub? No, we don't need. Okay, so we have our seeder config. Now let's add in fixtures here. Do we have a database? Well, let's just do a book seeder, or let's do project data or test database seeder, right? Yes, and this implements database seeder, and okay. Ooh, run. Patrick is asking here, wouldn't it be better for the property seeders to be guarded on the config, you mean? Like, for example, to make it private set, right? Something like that. Yes. The thing is that it's kind of a convention within Tempest that config properties are public writable. And that's because they sometimes have to be changed from the outside. And, you know, you could add getters and setters for that. But that's not really, well, that's just a lot of overhead, basically. But we might actually reconsider that decision later. But for now, it's consistent with the framework. So that's where we're going with. Let's see. We have our seed command here now. And seeders aren't discovered yet. Let's see, discovery cache. Ooh. Okay. So let's see if we end up actually over here. Yes, we do. And then, oh, I might have made a mistake here, actually. Yeah. Did I? Actually, don't remember. Hang on, migration discovery. Like the apply over here. Yeah. Discovery items as discovery item, and then I need to let's actually see what is discovery item then. Okay, so but this is good now, right? Yep. And oh, I know what I missed. I still need to initialize my config because it's nowhere registered. I need to like provide a default one. Cedar.config.php. That's basically it. Yeah, and then return new Cedar config. Like so. Okay, and now we have our discovered Cedar over here. And basically what we need to do here, it's not all that difficult, right? We can just loop over, like this is the most simple approach, of course. We can, we'll like make changes here, but for each, oh, this is the wrong place, but like over here, for each, what's it called? This Cedar config, Cedars as Cedar. I will have to inject the container as well. Like so, and then we'll say, we'll actually call this Cedar class, and then this container gets Cedar class, like so, and then we'll say Cedar run, basically, and that's the gist of Cedars. Of course, we'll make some changes here because let's say this success, and actually no, we're going to do this task and then running Cedar class, like so, and then we'll move this into that task. Oh, and this should of course be Cedar class. Okay, what's the problem here? Undefined variable Cedar class, of course. Ugh. Okay. Why did it show 2 times over there? That's weird. Okay, that's a rendering issue with the our and so if you're watching, we have the same thing happening with our release script, and I was always wondering what's happening here. Look, it like duplicates the thingy here, and if we do like no interaction, yeah, then it like styles it differently. Okay, maybe it is because I dumped something here. Hang on, because the task, yeah, okay, it's because I used LD there. Okay, well, we can work with this. I don't know what like the styling rules are here. Do we have to do something like this? No, that doesn't even work. Okay, and so we'll have to go through my PR and like fix my inconsistencies. But okay, so this kind of works, right? So we do database Cedar, we have our test database Cedar here, and over here we could say book create something like timeline taxi, I don't know, Oh, and then an error occurred. Can I pass in? This is okay. I'm going to there are some things that need to be improved with this task component, because this is like, you do need to see the output here. So we're just gonna do it like this for now. Yeah, that's better. And then this success seeded. Okay, let's check out what the error is here. Property. Yeah, okay, I just made the wrong thing. Yeah, of course it is. It should be like this, of course. Timeline, taxi. Okay. And now if you go to our database and refresh, there's books here and it's over here. And if we then do seed again, I guess, yeah, there it starts from, it adds items here, which I think for the seed command is good, because you usually want to use it with the migrate up and then seed, right? So let's add that now. And actually you want it with migrate fresh, not migrate up. Migrate fresh is the command we need. So let's go to migrate fresh command, and let's see here, validate database, and then we can just add bool seed equals false. Console argument description, run all database seeders after the database has been migrated, something like that, right? And we do this, and then we do this console call database seed command. Oh yeah, we need to pass in the database. That's a good point. String database equals null, like so. I should just copy this. To do select correct database. And this is why you need to pass in the database, actually. Like so. Yeah, okay. We're gonna do that in a second. First, I want this to work, which of course it doesn't, because there's no return value. We'll just return exit code success. Okay. See, why does this always get styled like so? I need to find out how that works. Header. Okay. Header. Seeding database, and this should only happen if seed is true. Okay, and then we should go to the migrate up command, and let's check this out. Oh yeah, this is with this event here on a key value. That's what I needed. That's what I needed. So the key is the seeder class, and then over here seeded, something like this. Yeah, okay, that's better. And then if we run migrate fresh, see, now it's consistent. Isn't that nice? That's really great. Okay. That's actually what I was looking for when I was using the task thing. You see, I know my framework perfectly well. There's more than 50, well, I guess we're close to 100,000 lines now. So, and I haven't written like big parts of it anymore. So I'm discovering new things together with you all, basically. But yeah, this is nice. So if we don't run the seed command, then nothing is inserted. That's good. So what's the next thing? So basically, oh yeah, I had it to do here. Select the correct database. Yeah, that's important. Hang on. Migrate up command. Yeah, and this passes the database to the migration manager. So let's see, how could we like make it the most user-friendly, basically? Because let's go to our test seeder here, test database seeder. So what you should do to select another database is query, it's query book class insert. Then we'll say title timeline taxi, like that, and then you say on database, and then you have null string or unit enum. So I think it should be null string unit enum database. This isn't like super convenient. That's kind of my problem. And it's not required, right? If you only have one database, then you can just skip this. But if you have multiple databases, you definitely need to use this. So I think we'll add it over here for now. It's just such a stupid type hint, right? I don't really like it, but it is consistent with how the database is selected in other places. So I feel like for consistency's sake, this is good. And for like in the next major version, we could add something like database tag or something like that, or selected database, or I don't know. But yeah, for now, it's not really designed that way. And I guess it's fine. And you don't need to use it, like I said. However, I think it's probably good practice to add it to your seeders, I reckon, because like otherwise you won't be able to select a database at any given point in the future, unless like changing your seeders. But okay, I made a mistake. What's the problem here? What's the error? Too few arguments. Oh yeah. Hang on. Data base seeder database seeder, and I'm gonna use database over here. Yeah. I think that's good. Yeah. And so now, just like to make sure this works, we always have our one. We drop our what's it called? Migrate up seed. No, migrate fresh. Yes. Should migrate up also have the seed option? I think that will be weird because migrate up is used to do like incremental incremental migrations, right? You run it on production, and over there you definitely never want to run the seeders. So I feel like it makes most sense to only being able to see the database when you are migrating from a fresh install. I think that makes sense. Okay, so next step is to write some tests, because I ignored that, but it shouldn't be too hard to do, I guess. So let's go to our migrate up command test, something like this over here. Let's add it over here. First, let's do database seed command test extends framework integration test case, and then we'll say tests just seed basically. Over here we'll have to create migrations table and create book table. We have to do that manually because this is like only running the database seed command. Oh, that reminds me. Database seed. Ooh. Seed command. I don't know if this should be prefixed with database. But what I was reminded of is that I should really add some middleware here. Middleware force, middleware class, and then caution middleware. And these two, caution middleware basically prevents people from running it in production by accident. Let's see here. You want to do inserts on migrations, Joris says on Twitch. We have a lot of enum tables which also get incrementally filled over time with new values. Yes, but that's already possible. That's like separate from seeders. So migrations, you can like create new things with migrations, but you can also insert stuff with migrations. The thing with migrations is that they are, the framework keeps track of which migrations have run to make sure that your database schema is always up to date, basically. Seeders are really just a development feature to like fill your database with dummy data for testing locally, basically. So that's a big difference. But that being said, the two are kind of linked together, which is why I have the migrate fresh command with the seed option, because when you're running locally and you just want to like create a new clean state after having done some changes to test stuff, you just dump the old database and regenerate it, and then possibly if you want to add some seeding to it. That's the idea. Okay. We were gonna write some tests, right? So we have this, and then we say console call dbseed, basically, and what we want to assert is that we want to book equals book get 1, basically. I think that's what we need. And then over here we expect there to be a book, and there is. So that's really nice. So let's say assert same timeline taxi book title, like so. And then over here let's say assert success, of course, success. Okay, so that's good. That's a first test done, but we're not done yet, of course. What we need to test for as well is test seed via migrate fresh. That's an important one. And then we don't do our migrations. We just say migrate fresh seed, like this, and then same assertion, and it should work. That's good. That's really nice. And then what we also want to test is whether it uses the right database. But for that we need to set up two databases and test select database. And I kind of forgot how to set it up, but no worries. Multi database test. Here we are. Ooh, what's this? It's the wrong namespace over here. Hang on. Like so. Yeah, because we need to create two databases, right? And I do have something over here. Migration. We'll have to use our migration manager. Let's see here. Do we have setup? Yeah, this over here. This is a lot of code, but I'm just gonna add my test over here. I think that makes more sense. Test. Yeah. And this will be a little bit more code because you just, we have to do some testing. Test seed on selected database. So instead of doing this, we'll have to we have main and backup. Is that like the yeah, main and backup? Okay, those are our two databases. So we'll say, oh yeah, we'll have to get a migration manager on database main, and we'll execute up. Can we pass in two migrations here? No. Create book table, and then we'll do the same on backup. So now we have two databases with the same setup, and then we'll say database equals main, for example. And then instead of doing this, we'll say query book class select. Oh, we can just do this on database main, like this. And we'll basically say this should work, I think. No. First, hang on, title. Okay, so that's good. And then we'll want to assert that assert null timeline taxi, assert null just like this on database backup. Okay, and now we run our command again, and we'll say database is backup, and we basically do the same assertion then, but then on our backup database. Okay, so that works. That's good. And now one more test, not unimportant because we have the same thing for migrate fresh test. Let's call this database seed test migrate fresh seed on selected database. So then we can skip all of this. It's very similar, right? So migrate fresh seed, and we pass in a database. Okay, same assertions, and then we'll do the same again, but for backup, and same assertions. And it fails. We were doing so well. No such table books. Let's see what happens here. Publisher, migration, publisher, author, books. Yeah. Oh, I didn't. Well, no. Okay. So hang on. Oh, it's giving an error here, right? Hang on. Because there is no such table books. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's say actually this expect exception assert exception like so. What's the exception that we need? Just PDO exception. You know that it makes sense, right? It all makes sense. Like so. Yes. Okay, that's good. And then we do this. Yeah, cool. Okay, so what have we tested? We have our database seed command, just standalone. The thing is, if you run this multiple times, oh, I also wanted to check whether it has the caution middleware actually. So test caution db seed caution. So let's say this, how do I switch environment? Actually don't remember. There's a way to do it. There's a simple way to do it. Hang on. Environment. Yeah, it's just It's just this basically. And actually, I think this app config environment equals. Okay, so let's do this, yeah. And when we do this now, print, we should see, oh, I don't know why. Yes, this command might be destructive. Do you wish to continue? And I'm gonna say assert C, like so, just to make sure that we never run this by accident. Okay, so that's cool, that's good. That's already a pretty solid feature, right? And how long did it take us? Not too long, I hope. Is it like, this is such an exception to the rule, but I managed to make something in Tempest within half an hour without like running into any problems. I'm happy with that. Let's commit this. And let's open new pull request. Feature database, add database seeder support. Closes this one, and we will make it a draft for now because there are a couple of things I still want to explore. So what sometimes happens is that you have multiple database seeders, and you might want to choose which one you want to run. And so this is going to complicate some things, because by default, I do want it to work like this. I think that makes the most sense. What we could do. So this was the boring part. Now we get to like design something new from scratch, and I will need some input here. So let's go to our database, database seed command. Okay. So, if there's only one seeder, basically, if count this seeder config seeders equals 1, run seeder. We'll add that method over here. It will return anything, and we'll basically move all of this into here. Run seeder, and we'll say string seeder class. Oh yeah, and then we need our database as well. Database equal, well, that can be like that. Yeah. So happy to dev, you ask if you have multiple databases, does it make sense to have something like a default database, and without parameters, the seeders will run on it? Yes, that's already the case. So the way you define multiple databases is to have, let's scroll up here, to basically have a config file per database, right? And yeah, one database could be Postgres, the other could be SQLite. You could have as many as you want. You could make them dynamically when starting up the application to, for example, have multi-tenancy. So that all works, but the way like these databases are differentiated from each other is by their tag, basically. And if you create a config without a tag, then that's considered the default one. It just happens in this test case over here that I only create 2 configs, each with a tag. So there is no default one. Actually, there is, because there is a default one set up when you run the test. But yeah, so that works. That works. This seeder config, seeders 0, basically. And then, oh yeah, we need to pass in the database. Otherwise, for now, say run seeder. Okay. Okay, but this is pretty like straightforward and obvious, but what happens if we have this? And what I wanted to like try out is something like seeders to run equals this ask basically which seeders do you want to run, and let's add options here, and then this, yeah, like so. And then we do it like this. I wonder if this, but we'll add some stuff here to make it like easier to use. But I think this makes sense, and I'll explain why. But we need to first test this, so I'm just gonna add a test database seeder, and we'll for now we're gonna refactor this, but I just want to see it in action, you know. Yeah, okay. Come on. Okay, which seeders do you want to run? And then you can select them. I need to multiple true. Right. And I do wonder, like default, can we select all of them at once? This would be really nice to have, but yeah, that's not supported in the I think we want something like all. And then run all database seeders. I think that makes sense. And maybe then we can ditch this check as well. Then we can just pass in the all option always. Maybe that's more consistent. Maybe. Okay, so if all seeders to run equals this seeder config seeders, else like so, basically. So that's good, and then we pass in all. And then it breaks. Query wasn't no such table books. Oh. Okay. I think this is good. This is good. I like this. And then you can still like choose which ones you want to. We need to write tests for this, of course. And then we can get rid of this. I like that. And so let's check out our migrate fresh seed command now. Now we get to choose them, but now we need to pass in that all argument to it as well. So migrate fresh. But instead of all, well, no, I think so Andre is asking here, will the seeder support different database connections itself for seeding, or will you have to somehow manage that yourself? No, we implemented that 10 minutes ago, yeah. We have a test for it. Multi-database test over here, where you select a database or another one. Or do you mean seeder 1 goes to localhost, seeder 2 goes to not localhost? I guess that's perfectly possible, of course, if you hard code it into the seeder. So hang on, second test database seeder. Instead of like you get the database passed in here, but you could also just say always do a backup, for example. So yeah, that would work. That would work just fine. Yeah. And you just ignore this parameter, of course. These are decisions a project has to make, right? But yeah, that I think that makes sense. Now I got distracted, but it was a good question. Thank you. Oh yeah, all. I just wonder, like, migrate fresh seed, and now I have to pass in all as well. Is that like, you know, let's make it work first. All. Does this actually work? Yeah. Then I have a test for this, so. Now this fails. Oh, interesting. Does it work again now? Oh no, it fails because I have, hang on. Database seed command. Expected set, but no exit code was set. Maybe you missed providing some input. Hang on. Ah, yeah, okay, because, yeah, hang on. This makes sense. All, of course. I'm gonna change that like so, and then like so. Okay, that works again. Yeah, okay. So, and then if we remove this, then this works as well. Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that. I wrote that code, I think. Let's see. Oh no. Enzo did. Okay, so learning something new every day. Very nice. I think I like this. So DB seed, you get to select your database. If there's only one, yeah, I don't know if, like, what we should do with this. Should we keep it or not? Like, it feels intuitive that if there's only one, like, you only ever want to run that one, right? So why not then have it immediately there? Of course, we don't have only one yet, but we need to adjust our tests for that. I think I want to keep it. Like, I think it feels intuitive. So these tests now fail as well, of course, because we didn't add our all flag. Okay, test seed all, but now we want to add some new tests, right? Test seed, test seed, single one, select with selected seeder. Okay, so we migrate again. Actually, we might, yeah, no, we don't do that for all the tests. We'll keep it like this. Assert C test database seeder class, and then also second test database seeder class. This should, yeah, this is good. And then let's see, print will say assert, no, we'll say input submit 1, for example, and only run the second test database seeder. And I will say assert success. It's not success. What happened here? Print. Like so. You picked. Oh, do I need to submit again? Okay. Didn't know that. Okay, and then assert success. Okay. And now we want to make sure that our timeline taxi 2 was seeded in the database, but not the second one. So, and then this assert same one query book class count execute. Okay, so that's good. And then over here, I do want to make some changes because we should have 2 seeders here. Yes, that's good. That's good. So that works. That works. The one with the when there's only one seeder available. Test seed when only one seeder is available, and in order for that to work, we have to like what's it called? Seeder config equals this container, not app config. Seeder config, right? And then seeder config. We'll say unset seeder config seeders 1, basically. And then we do the same, and then we call dbseed without all, and we assert success, and we assert that this doesn't work. Doesn't work. Print. Well, let's get rid of this. Let's see what happens. So it doesn't work, basically. It doesn't work. But that might be because, let's see. Oh. Actually, let's do it like this. Else. No, we'll do return. Okay, and now it works. Good. Just for consistency here, I'm going to add this assertion here as well, just for consistency. Okay, cool. Now we're not done yet, because we still need to write the docs, and that's equally important. I do wonder. Yeah, okay, we'll have to figure that out. Sorry, brain fart. I do like this feature. No, it's pretty. Seems pretty solid. Oh, I have a print somewhere. Commit and push. And okay. Feels like a pretty good feature. Something like, and like the good thing is, like, you can decide how you want to manage your seeder. So you can have multiple classes if you want to. But if you have just one class, let's see here, the what did I call it? Test database seeder. If you just have one class, and this is what Laravel does, it has like a master database seeder or something like that, and then you could just add new classes here and split your database seeder that way. That could also be a possibility. And if you want those classes to have the database seeder Oh, I just thought of one more feature that we have to add. But if you want those classes to have the database seeder interface as well, but not being discovered, then you can just add skip discovery here. That will just work. But when we still need is string seeder equals null. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay. Select one specific seeder to run. Yes, I think that's important as well. So we need to get that to work also. Let's go back to our test here. Test with manually selected. So, and then we won't do this, but instead we will seeder equals like this, and then we'll say second database seeder.class. We might have to add slashes here, I'm not sure. And then we can do it like this, and then yeah, okay, and then we can keep the same test over here. So let's run this. Yeah, okay, it works, that's great. And we'll have to add it to our migrate fresh command as well. Great. You see, like building these console commands, that they actually require quite a lot of thinking, honestly. But it's fun. I find it fun because, you know, I like writing them with Tempest. They feel very lightweight still. No, let's not do that. Okay, so if seeder is not null, then we'll just say this run seeder basically, and return, right? And then our test succeeds. It's really nice. Let's. Okay, so that's really good to have, I feel, as well. And then we'll do this again. Test seed, test migrate fresh seed with manually selected seeder, and then we can get rid of this, and then migrate fresh seed. The thing is, if you specify seeder here, like, it's kind of stupid having to specify seed as well, don't you think? So we're gonna make this work. Migrate fresh, and we'll add a new seeder. Yes, select one specific seeder to run. And then well, yeah, let's just do some thingies here. Database all, and then if and then we say seed equals seed, or what was it called? Seeder isn't null, basically. And then we'll say seeder equals seeder. Okay, let's see if that works. It does. Everything else still working? It does. See, BDSL here on on Twitch. Let's write it like this. Hang on, seed my seeder. I like it. Yeah, that's like gonna be super obvious. Oh, that's really great. Okay, good that we thought of that. By the way, any other ideas that you folks have? Because this is the moment. Well, actually, I'm going to what's it called? Tempest. No Tempest. For new window, please. Yes. And then the docs. And here's the thing what I don't really know. Because, okay, let me go to the docs here. We have, oh, what's happening? Are we okay? I hope so. Right, we have documentation for version 1 and main, right? And I think Tempest, like the default one goes to 1.x now. So, and since we're adding this to 1.x, I just think, I don't think we should have made this version yet, honestly. Yeah. Hang on, before diving into this one, BDSL is saying maybe a more serious one is making, like a more serious remark because of your Cedar suggestion. Maybe a more serious one is making it a separate command name. So you'd use seed instead of migrate, especially since I think Tempest allows you to implement multiple commands from the same class. Yes, but that's already the case, no? Like there's already the db seed or dara database seed command as well, which is only seeds. So yeah, I guess that's fine. Okay, tempest.test, and then we go to our, oh, by the way folks, I did some optimizations, and like all of this, like, can you see how fast it is? And this is not like on our production docs, it's even, well, faster, but then there's network stuff going in between, so it's slower there. This is statically generated content, but all of this on local, this is just real time. I mean, I don't mean to brag, but like, check that out. That's always around 100 milliseconds. And it's doing discovery, it's doing the rendering, that's all happening just on the fly. Yeah, I made some optimizations. I spent like a week optimizing discovery, part of discovery, and then also, well, some changes on the docs website itself. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. It's pretty fast, right? So yeah. Let's see, BDSL, you had a follow-up here. Not sure exactly what the technical difference between a migration and a seeder is. I guess that a seeder runs only as many times as you want, when you want. Can be 0 or many. Migrations are designed to run exactly once per environment. You're exactly right, yeah. Yeah, and seeders are like more of a development tool to get your database into a certain state, while migrations are meant to manage the schema of your database in exactly all environments, on production, on local. So so yeah, okay, let's see here. We need to add a part here. I'm gonna do it in 1.x and then copy it over, I guess, into main. I don't know, I don't think we should have made main yet, because now we have to like copy over the stuff, and we only need to get a second version of the docs when this like Tempest 2 gets tagged, basically, I feel. But essentials database over here. Where are we going to add this? We have migrations, and then after migrations is, no, actually multiple databases. Right before this. Database seeders, right? Yeah, this is where we are. Often, like, come join me writing some documentation here. But this is important, right? Because we're writing these docs, and we might figure out some more stuff we forgot about, and we need to like take into account. Often, whenever you need to fill your database with dummy data, you can provide database seeders. These are classes. These are classes that are used to fill your database with whatever data you want. Database seeders can be run on multiple databases. Should I mention that here? No, I wanna. To get started, you should implement the I don't know the syntax anymore. I think it was this. Oh yeah, now I need the migrate. Actually, you know what? Let's go over here. Let's go to Composer, and let's say data seeders. Oh, it's not there. Database seeders. Then we get auto completion, you know. Yeah, that's nicer. You should implement the data. Oh, indexing. Hang on a second. While it's indexing, BDSL is saying might seeders be useful for production to create admin users or something? We actually end up using migrations quite a lot in production for changing data instead of changing the schema, because we don't have an admin interface to our app and we don't want to log into production SQL. So this is interesting. I would say for doing things in production, using migrations is still better, because the difference here is that the framework keeps track of which migrations have run, so you don't accidentally run the same migration twice and break your database. So in Tempest you can in Tempest you can use migrations to insert data as well. And I would say that's still the right way to go for production data, because then you get more control over, you know, not accidentally running things twice. And you don't have to worry about managing that yourself. Say you want to insert 5 admin users, for example. If you do it via migration, you don't have to worry about accidentally running it twice, because that's checked on the migration part. If you would do it with a seeder, then you'd have to add some manual checks on whether you want to check whether the admin user already exists, something like that. So you should implement the database seeder. Please, I need this. Yes, come on. The database seeder interface. That's what it's called. Okay, and then let's copy over our test database seeder. Use database seeder. Use unit enum is also important. And over here we'll call it book seeder. Note how the database property is passed into the run method. In case a user has specified a database for this seeder to run on, this property will reflect, I don't know if this is a good sentence, will reflect that choice. Running database seeders can be done in 2 ways. Either via the database seed command or via the migrate fresh command. Note that database seed will keep running the same, will repeat the same seeders after. How should I phrase this? Okay, it's very difficult to write documentation while streaming. I just realized, sorry. But let's see here, because there are some more comments. Are seeders only used for dummy data? Could they not also be used when initializing the database on deployments? This, like, the same question keeps popping up over and over again. I would say that migrations are a better way to do that, because migrations, they ensure that they aren't run twice or multiple times. This is actually what I'm trying to write over here. Let's see. On Twitch, BDSL asks, normally we have our deploy setup to run all migrations before sending traffic to the new version of the app. Yeah, that works for adding a database column needed to support the new feature, but sometimes we'd like the migration to run after instead, in case we're doing featurectomy. Could we mark a migration for running after? No. After what exactly? Before sending traffic, then you run your migrations. That's fair. After deployment, you mean? I mean, I guess after the old version of the app has stopped receiving web traffic. Yeah, I guess like that's more a limitation of, not a limitation, but something you'll have to work around on your end, I think. Something that is missing is, like with the migrate command, migrate up. There's no way to specify which migrations should be run. Like kind of the thing we did with our seeders now. There's no way to specify which migrations to run in this case, but that's kind of by design, because migrations, they follow each other, right? You cannot just run migration X when there are 10 other migrations that should be preceded by it. So, yeah, I understand that you might not want to run the last migration. That would be valid, but I think that's something, I don't know how you would solve that, actually. Doing 2 deployments, I would say. It would need to be 2 separate migrate commands, I guess, with an option on the command to only run before. And then the good thing about Tempest, to be honest, is that you can easily add this yourself. Like, take a look at the migration manager, right? So when you call up, this is like the default state, right? It checks the existing migrations, does some stuff, and then it will figure out which migrations to run, basically, right? This is what up does. So it loops over all migrations. The ones that have already been migrated are skipped, and then we execute the next one and the next one and the next one. But there's nothing stopping you from like copying this method and doing whatever you want, because execute up here is a public function as well. So if you inject a migration manager and then write your own command that adds some logic in between here, you know, and you just copy this over into your command, or you create a new migration manager, or it doesn't have to be a full migration manager, because like we have all the logic already here. And then you just, you know, if you know which classes to migrate, you can just call execute up. Done. So yeah, that up is really simple. Yeah, we could copy it and check for an annotation attribute, yeah, on the migrations. Exactly, yeah. So, and this is kind of how like Tempest is designed to be relatively simple. I'm not saying all things are as simple as this, but you know, it's not super hard to, and like, there is no rule against doing that. I mean, if you need your own stuff, definitely build on top of the framework. It is designed to be built on top of, honestly. Yeah, and there will be places where it's not perfect. But yeah. Let's see here on YouTube. Shouldn't it be DB seed instead of database seed? It's actually database seed, and DB seed is a database. Yeah, it's a DB seed is an alias. So no commitments, but I was considering writing a plugin for Tempest, for IntelliJ. What would you like to see as a priority in such a hypothetical plugin? This is a really great question. A Vue support, definitely. That's the first thing. Like auto-completions in Vue. Auto-completion in views, Tempest views. That's the biggest thing. And then there are a bunch of like things people could do to like improve the developer workflow, but Vue support is definitely the like #1 priority. I actually did plan on writing something myself with a colleague of mine, because I don't know if you know, but I work at JetBrains, so I like do have some I know some people, but you know, timings and schedules and stuff like that, things have been just like, there are a lot of things on our plate. So I'm not against someone building it as a community version. I do hope that Tempest becomes big enough so that PHP Storm just gets support for it. That would be really nice. But yeah, that's definitely not where we are right now. And you know, I totally get it. I have, like, most of my colleagues work in the PHP Storm team. I talk about this with them. And, you know, like right now it's just not, Tempest is too small to like warrant the investment basically. So yeah. Steve is marching in and saying, I like the idea of playbooks for seeding. Steve, I have like a great news for you. That's actually, I didn't use the term playbook because it's another thing, but this is actually how it works. So let's see, if you run the seeder command, if you decide to like have multiple seeders, you just select the ones you want to run, right? So that's kind of like, Steve mentions the playbook stuff. I think you got the idea from me when I wrote Laravel Beyond CRUD. Maybe I'm taking too much credit there, but the idea of Laravel Beyond that I described in Laravel Beyond CRUD, which is an old book, it's not, I don't know if it's updated anymore. Spasi is taking care of that, so I'm not gonna make any remarks there. But Laravel had one seeder class basically, right? And then we came up with the idea of, what about having multiple seeder classes, and each seeder class bringing the database into a state, like a specific state for a specific scenario, where you have, for example, I'm gonna work on invoicing today, for example. Okay, so let's run the invoicing database seeder, bam, and and it fails. Why does it fail actually? Oh, because migrate fresh. Let's do it like this. Bam, we have the invoice seeder, right? Tomorrow I'm working, well, tomorrow, no way I'm working on it only takes one day, but like 2 months later, I'm working on, I don't know, mailing. We have a mailing seeder. Bam, I mean, it's done. You have multiple developers working on multiple features, and there are multiple seeders, and that's what playbooks are about. And so yeah, that's how it works in Tempest. But for people who only need one seeder, that's why we added that shorthand. If you only have one seeder, it will just run that one seeder without any prompts, and you have the all option to run all of them as well. So I feel like yeah, that works out for everyone. Steve, let me know if that matches your expectations. So yeah. Cool. So yeah, Josh, you've been a follower of my work for a long time. So you know I work at JetBrains, yeah. So to answer your question, Josh, definitely like experiment with it if you want to. The thing is, it's not an easy undertaking, honestly. Especially Tempest Vue is it's not a language on its own. It's very close to HTML, it's very close to PHP, but you need to get it working together. And yeah, but it will be really cool if we had Tempest Vue support. Yeah, that's like, yeah. Okay, so back to our thingies here. Running database seeders can be done in two ways, either via database seed command or via the migrate fresh command. Note that database seed will always append the seeded data on the existing database. I don't know how to phrase this correctly, but we'll just continue for now. I should probably have an example here. So Tempest database seed or Tempest migrate fresh seed. Now we do want to mention multiple seeders, right? If you want to, you can create multiple seeder classes. Each seeder class could be used to, this is what Steve was describing, could be used to bring the database into a specific state. Or you could use multiple seeder classes to to seed part of your database, to seed specific, because that's also a way you can use it, right? Like to have a user, a seeder, and a book seeder, and then you can pick and choose. Although I don't think that's the most useful one. Whenever you have multiple seeder classes, Tempest will prompt you which ones to run. And now I actually don't know. Let's go to Tempest framework. DB seed. Now I need to style this. Hang on. Comment. This is the like boring part of the docs, but it is really important, right? I think it's this, which, yeah. Okay, it's good enough. Form seeder, invoice seeder, something, mailing seeder, I don't know. This is annoying. It adds the double slashes. No, I don't want it. Oh, is it dim? Yes. Let's see. BDSL is asking, are Vue templates the only non-internal code languages you've created as part of Tempest? Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's enough. It's enough. We don't want to. So yeah. Okay, let's finish our thoughts here. Both the database seed and migrate fresh commands also allow to pick one specific seeder or run all seeders automatically. And then let's do it like this. Seed, and then we'll say mailing seeder over here. Cedar equals, and I think I need to escape these slashes, but I'm gonna try it in a second. Cedar equals I don't know, seed all, like this. I like this. Okay, okay, let's see. Oh yeah, I wanted to test this, of course, because test, let's db seed. I don't know if you need to, yeah, you need to escape the slashes. And I think it's good practice to add quotes. It's not necessary, but yeah, okay. Oh, maybe if you add the quotes, you don't need the double slashes. Ah, that's why you add the quotes. Perfect. Okay. Let's also add like all. Yeah, just want to make sure people know what to do. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, and then multiple databases. Seeding on multiple databases. Seeders have built-in support for multiple databases. Wait, I did mention that over. Which you can specify with the database option. Continue reading to learn more about multiple databases. Something like this. And I will add 2 more commands here. Seed database equals backup. Database equals main. Staging, no. Oh, that's actually interesting. You could like make a database connection to your, that's probably a bad idea. Gonna forget about it. Okay, so that's it. I think now I need to copy this over into the main chapter, which is kind of main database, right? And then multiple, yeah, like so. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, like that we need 2 versions. I need to like look into that. I actually need a new branch here. Database seeders. Boom, boom. Okay. Refresh, and let's see here if there's anything else we need to do, but I don't think. Oh. Well, that's the stream for today, folks. No. Wait, hang on. Is it? Oh no, it's Windows, it's Ubuntu, it's Postgres, it's MySQL, it's SQL. This is why I don't write documentation. No. It's the branch that's failing, not the docs. But I am going to quickly head over here and then create a new pull request. Add database seeder docs. Create. Wait until is merged. Oh. And convert to draft. Yep. Okay. So what's the problem here? First, I forgot to run Composer QA. So that will already fix quite a lot of things, probably. I hope. I don't know if it's the like coolest thing to watch, but you know, it is part of the progress, right? I hope it's just one failing test, like just a stupid thing that I forgot about. Let's go. Yeah, it looks. What's the problem here? I just need to add, yeah, I know why this happens. Database seed command test. Actually, let's quickly switch to MySQL here. Oh no, hang on. .config. Yeah. Create author table. But there are more. Hang on. Create publisher table. Okay, so that's it. Just need to add these two. Okay, so that's already good. Okay, so tests on SQLite, they worked. Let's see. And then multi-database test. Ah, yeah, but they don't work. Do they work on MySQL? I'm not sure. Title on null. Line 305. Why does it think it's null? Let's run PHP stand again. Another thing? Huh? What? Uh-oh. Yeah, actually. It thinks it's null. Is this? There's a missing doc block here. But I cannot really. Oh, that's annoying. On database. Actually, I can template T. And then we'll say return T or null, like so. And then, yeah, but it's used in many places, of course. The insert query builder. And then we'll have to add it over here. No, it's a select query builder. I'm sorry. Select query builder. Yeah, and then we have add uses. What's it called? On database G model. I don't know if this works, if it's smart enough to. Nah, that's unfortunate, actually. This is why I don't write tests. This is why I don't write documentation. This is unfortunate because this trait is used in different places, basically. I'm going to do a thing here. PHP stand ignore next line. This is how I fix my tests, you know. Yeah, no, this isn't good, but it is what it is. But actually my SQLite tests were failing as well. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to wrap the stream up basically, and to fix CI another day. Yeah, because I'm done. I'm done. It's been good. We created like something that works. Can we agree that it works? Okay, CI doesn't work, but CI. No, but this was a very productive feature addition. So I'm just gonna like check CI in maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow is the weekend. Maybe next week. I don't know, when I feel like I'm ready for it, and then we'll have database seeders in Tempest, which I really like. So folks, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for helping me in my thought process and not watching me struggle. I know it's a weird thing to happen, but this went all pretty smooth, which I really like. I think it's a testament to not my skill, but to Tempest being more and more stable. So I really like that. Have a good weekend, folks, and I hope to see you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.